Welcome, I'm Adina Wancha and I guide high-achieving men and women create extraordinary lives and loving, ecstatic relationships. The intention of this podcast is to empower both men and women when it comes to life, dating, relationships, and intimacy. I believe that by both men and women being healthy, powerful, and loving, we can be in thriving romantic partnerships and create a better world together. If this is something you resonate with, then please keep listening. This episode comes in continuation of the previous episode I made called 10 Reasons Why High Achieving Women Choose Predatory or Weak Men, which I strongly advise you to listen to after this episode. In that episode, I go in depth on the root causes of why kind women choose abusive men who make their lives a living hell, and why successful women choose weak men who can hardly take care of themselves, let alone a family. I decided to split this episode in two parts. So, in this episode, I will share the first 6 red flags I consider the worst when it comes to men. And in the following episode, I will speak about the rest of 6 red flags. Now, let's define what a predator and what a weak man is. Please note that I use the same definitions in my 10 reasons of why high-achieving women choose predatory or weak men episode. I am putting them here too because I really want you to start making the distinction between good men, predatory men, and weak men. So you stop wasting your life and your love on men who aren't worth it. According to the dictionary, predator means an animal that naturally preys on others or a person that ruthlessly exploits others. As we are not talking about animals but about people, the latter definition applies to this context. Predators usually want to be seen as powerful men, so they exaggerate their achievements and qualities and project self-confidence, capability, success, wealth, power, influence when they don't have them. Also, they behave in sneaky and manipulative ways by lying, deceiving, and even using aggression to get what they want. That is why I don't recommend you believe everything a man tells you. Instead, observe his behavior for a longer period of time without being intimate with him and without paying on dates. Now let's define weak men. Weakness in men is defined by things such as being too emotional and having a short temper, having addictions, lacking self-confidence, inability to speak his mind, not taking responsibility for his actions, being fearful and not being able to take action, can't handle difficult situations, doesn't have any skills and can't provide value to the world, is lazy, and is financially unstable. Being predatory and being weak go hand in hand many times, and you'll find both characteristics in some men. For example, a man who doesn't have a stable job or financial income can become a predator and love bomb a woman who has a good situation from financial point of view, so that she falls in love with him and starts taking care of his financial needs. Another example is a man who has a short temper and lacks self-confidence, who can become very jealous and even be physically abusive once in a relationship. Another example is a man who can't take responsibility for his actions and blames you when anything goes wrong, and he manipulates you into thinking that you are the problem, not his behaviors and decisions. Now let's define red flags. Red flags are stop signs. Just as you need to stop at the traffic light when it's red, the same way you need to stop dating someone when you see these red flags. Stop living in an illusion and putting your head in the ground like the ostrich. Face the reality and stop dating a man when you see these signs. Do not think that he will change when he sees how amazing you are, or that he will become a better man when he falls in love with you. Ladies, please stop living in an illusion. Consider that what you see when dating is what you get once you are in a relationship, except if he is love bombing you, meaning he's showing you an exaggerated amount of interest or he wants to give you the moon and the sky. Stay away from men who are in the two extremes of either not being that so much into you or being so much into you that you believe he is Prince Charming. Now, let's get into the red flags. Red flag number 1, financial instability and lack of purpose. No matter your financial situation, you should not commit to a man who cannot hold a job, never has money, has a lot of debt without any plan on how to pay it, doesn't work on making more money and advancing in his career. Being financially stable is the basic for any adult on this world. And yes, one can lose a job or go through harsh times when it comes to money. However, if a man has a pattern of spending too much, losing money in bad investments, wasting money on addictions, not being able to hold a job, not working on advancing in his career, then you are signing up for misery. Yes, you may have your own money or even be making a lot of money. However, if you need to financially support a man or cover the expenses of the household for an extensive period of time because he's making too little money, then you are dealing with a child, not a man. So do you want to be in a relationship or marriage with a child or with a man? You decide. This doesn't mean that a man needs to make hundreds of thousands or millions. It just means that he needs to be financially stable and work on making even more money. Also, do not give a man money when you are dating or you are in a relationship with him. This undermines his masculinity and it also destroys the masculine-feminine polarity between you two. And if you do it repeatedly, then he will become your child and you will become his mommy. Another mistake I see some women making is starting a business with a man they are dating or they are in a relationship with. Why would you want to be business partners with a man that you are not married to? What guarantees you that he won't take all the money from the business and just leave you? And even if you are married, you need to become very conscious about the feminine masculine polarity and making sure you keep it in your relationship. This requires a lot of work from both partners. Otherwise, you risk becoming only business partners and roommates. And eventually, you may get divorced because you are no longer attracted to each other. Many couples who are business partners bring the stress of the business into their relationship, and this leads to a lot of conflict or emotional detachment. You need to become aware that a romantic relationship or a marriage and a business are very different things, and they require different behaviors and skills. Just because you two make a great team as a couple, it doesn't mean that you would make great business partners, and the other way around. Red flag number 2. He had unhealthy romantic relationship, and he hasn't done any work on himself to become a better partner. Ladies, stay away from men who have had a tumultuous past when it comes to their relationships and they haven't taken any responsibility for how they showed up in those relationships. If he hasn't worked on himself and hasn't changed those behaviors, he will do the things he has done in those past relationships to you. So pay attention if he talks badly about his previous relationships or partners. And if he does, then know that he is emotionally immature. Why would you want to deal with someone who isn't self-aware of his shortcomings, who cannot take responsibility for his actions, and who isn't working on becoming a better partner? Why? Stop doing this to yourself. When dating, you should ask him questions about his previous relationships, like, what has been your best relationship? What has been your worst relationship? Which of your behaviors have contributed to these relationships being good or bad? And then listen to what he's saying. But don't believe everything he's saying, because many men lie, and that is why you'll have to observe his behavior for a longer period of time and also listen to your intuition. Many women, including myself, got into trouble when it came to relationships because they were either disconnected from their intuition or they didn't listen to it. Your gut feeling will always tell you when someone is not good for you. So please start paying more attention to your intuition and less attention to your ego, which wants a certain outcome. Because that gets most of you in trouble. You choose a guy you like and you decide that he is the one. Why? What has this man done for you to say that he is the one? And for how long has he done those things? Any man out there can behave like a saint for some time or until he gets what he wants from you. However, you can get to know someone on a deeper level when they don't get sex or money from you and you observe their behavior for a longer period of time in multiple and various situations. Red flag number 3, not taking responsibility for his children from previous relationships. If he isn't taking care of his children that he already has, what makes you think he will take care of the children he will have with you? If he isn't a good father for the children he has, what makes you think he will be a good father for the children he will have? Do you think he will just change overnight? Stop being delusional and pay attention to the reality if you want to have children. Choose a man who, if he has children from previous relationships, is supporting them financially, is spending time with them, is emotionally connected to them. Not all men are good fathers. So if you want to have children, then pay attention to how he behaves with the ones he already has, if that is the case. If you don't want to have children, you still need to pay attention to how a man behaves with his children, because this can tell you many things about his character and who he really is. A man who doesn't take care of his children is not a good man. If a man doesn't take care of his children and doesn't have a good relationship with them, he is most likely selfish, narcissistic, irresponsible, immature. Is this the kind of man you want to spend the rest of your life with? Red flag number 4. He is controlling towards you in various ways. These are some behaviors which, if you see, you should stop dating him. He tells you how to dress. He tells you how to behave in certain situations. He tells you who you can be friends with and who you cannot be friends with. He always wants you to do what he wants and never wants to do what you want. He always wants things to go his way. It's a his way or the highway attitude. He is extremely jealous for no reason. He wants you to stop seeing your friends or your family. He blames you for everything that goes wrong and never takes responsibility for anything. He sets up rules for you. He gives you gifts expecting something in return. He uses sensitive information that you shared with him against you. He uses your secrets to blackmail you or shame and embarrass you in front of others. He lies about various things. He uses emotional manipulation for you to do what he wants. He expects you to take care of his needs, irrespective of how you feel. He pressures you to do certain things even if you said you didn't want to do them. He uses a traumatic event from his past as an excuse for his bad behaviors. He cheats on you. He is verbally and physically abusive. I want to make a clarification regarding if a man tells you how to dress. While some men prefer a certain aesthetic, meaning how you look and dress, the difference between a healthy and unhealthy man is that the healthy man will tell you his preference or he will compliment you when you wear something he likes. However, he won't expect you to dress in a certain way all the time. While an unhealthy man will pressure you to dress in a certain way or will even become aggressive if you don't dress how he wanted. Another possibility is that he will become extremely jealous and even aggressive if you dress too sexy when you go out without him. Ladies, do not accept any of these behaviors, because there are plenty of women who marry and even make children with this evil narcissistic type of man, and they go through hell because these men will never change. Please understand that you cannot make any man change, especially one who is so self-absorbed and toxic. You need to stop dating a man if you see these types of behaviors. Stop making excuses for him and please take care of yourself. Crazy people don't become healthy and kind just because you love them or because you are an amazing person. He will not change. So please, if you see these red flags, run. Red flag number 5, having an addiction or mental health problems. Addictions are symptoms of mental health problems, and while many of us can experience turbulent periods when we are not at our best, when I say addiction or mental health problems, I am thinking more of very destructive habits a person has towards themselves or towards other people, and this makes them mostly dysfunctional. Addictions are on a spectrum, and many of us have what I call functional addictions, meaning that we consume substances or we do activities that we like, but which aren't the healthiest things to do. However, these do not prevent us from living a good life and having healthy relationships. For example, someone can enjoy playing video games 2 times per week for 2 hours. However, it becomes problematic when they play it every day for 2 hours. Or someone can enjoy eating pizza 2 times per week. However, it becomes problematic when they eat it every day or even every other day. We all know that pizza is not the healthiest food out there. What you want to pay attention to is the quantity, the duration, and the frequency they ingest that substance or they do that activity for. If they do that thing for too much, for too long, and very frequently, they aren't healthy and you should stop dating them. Addictions are a serious matter and you cannot heal anyone from them. Addicts require professional help And if you aren't specialized in treating addictions and this person isn't paying you to help them, then you should mind your own business and let them deal with their life. When it comes to mental health problems, you want to pay close attention to what this person has dealt with in their past, the level of destruction that mental health problem has caused in their life, and what their current challenges are. Some examples of mental health problems are excessive anger, anxiety and panic attacks, bipolar disorder, body dysmorphia, borderline personality, depression, eating disorders, schizophrenia, obsessive compulsive disorder, paranoia, psychosis, post-traumatic stress. You want to discover if they're on medication or if they should be, if they got on treatment and what kind of treatment, and how they are dealing with the problem now. Mental health problems are also on a spectrum. For example, many people experience anxiety and depression. However, someone who has crippling anxiety and depression and they don't leave their house or don't have a job or friends is very different from someone who has anxiety and depression, but they're functional and can have a job and some social interactions. For example, I am predisposed to anxiety and depression, and it's something I've dealt with in my past. However, I did a lot of inner work and now I'm doing very well. This doesn't mean that I don't have tendency towards anxiety and depression anymore. It just means that I know how to deal with them and what to do when I see them creeping in. What you want to avoid is people who have not dealt with their issues and are leaning more towards dysfunctional than towards healthy. Mental health problems are something you should take very seriously, both in yourself and in other people, because mental health is the foundation of a healthy person. If your mind isn't healthy, nothing in your life can be healthy because the mind is the control center. Red flag number 6. Being aggressive towards you and not being able to be aggressive in a dangerous situation. Is aggressivity good or bad? Well, it depends. If you walk on the street and someone attacks you, of course that someone else being aggressive towards you is not good. However, if you walk on the street and someone attacks you and your partner defends you by attacking that person, well, in that situation, your partner's aggressivity is something useful and it will keep you safe. For example, I do not tolerate aggression towards myself from any man or anyone else. However, if a man cannot get aggressive towards a perpetrator in a dangerous situation, I cannot feel safe around him. As a healthy woman, I want to be protected and cherished by my partner. So of course that I am not going to tolerate any type of abuse towards me. However, if a man doesn't have the capacity to protect me in a dangerous situation, I will not feel safe with him. As women, we are much weaker than men when it comes to physical strength. That is why we need to be protected by our partners. And healthy men want and can protect their partners. Know that if a man cannot or does not want to protect you, this will make you unconsciously see him as weak and you will not feel safe around him. And this will translate in you disrespecting him, not admiring him, and not trusting him. And this will ultimately erode your relationship. The reason why many women are attracted to bad boys is because they can get aggressive. So seeing aggressivity unconsciously creates the feeling of safety in women because we interpret this as this man can protect me. However, the problem is that many of these bad boys don't use their aggressivity in a healthy way, meaning for protecting us. They use it for abusing. Another thing that happens is that a woman who has been in an abusive relationship with a man who was aggressive towards her will likely unconsciously choose a man who seems very calm and never displays aggressivity. However, the problem is that being too calm and not being capable of getting aggressive can be a symptom of the freeze trauma response. Meaning, this man is not aggressive because he has shut down this part of himself, which is not a good thing. As a man, he needs to be able to protect his loved ones in order to feel masculine and good about himself. A man who cannot do that doesn't have too much self-confidence or self-respect. Men know that the world can be a dangerous place and that they need to be able to protect themselves and their tribe, meaning their loved ones. I believe any person should be able to become physically aggressive if they are in a dangerous situation. The ability to fight can save your life in some situations. And I believe that if a man cannot use his aggressivity for protecting his loved ones, then he has some serious problems, and that women should stay away from men who are in the extremes, meaning being aggressive towards the woman and the children, or not being aggressive in dangerous situations that require the woman and the children to be protected. These have been the first 6 red flags, and in the following episode, I will share the next ones. Make sure you subscribe to my channel so you see when the next episode is live. And if you are committed to creating the best version of yourself and of your relationship, and if you resonate with me, there are 2 ways we can work together to achieve this. Working with me one-to-one, or purchasing my dating course, which will be released soon, in which I will be your guide to creating a better relationship with yourself first, dating from a place of empowerment and self-confidence instead of neediness and low self-worth, understanding how to make the difference between a good man and a bad man, discovering what good men look for in a woman, and how to become an irresistible match for the kind of man you desire. Depending when you listen to this, you'll find the link of the course in the description box, or you can get on my email list to purchase it once it becomes available. Also, you can download for free the 5 practices I made for you to help you create the life you desire. The package is called Magnetic Woman, and you can find the link in the description box. Thank you so much for the time and energy. And if you found this episode helpful, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel. More goodies are coming. I hope to see you in my next episode. And until then, keep evolving, loving, and creating. Bye.